Hey guys, Simcha here. Just want to make a short introduction that here at the Greeting Mashiach podcast, we have a tremendous amount of respect for Rabbi Friedman and all the tremendous work he's done over the years and all the people he's been mekarev, the Yiddishkeit and the families they've built and translating the Rebbe Sichas and all the amazing things that he's done. But nevertheless, we are here on a mission to bring the Geula and to explain the way we see these concepts and ideas that the Rebbe spoke in the Sichas about Mashiach to the best of our ability, and we've taken the opportunity to respond to this particular video of Rabbi Friedman's where we perhaps see things a bit differently, and we hope it comes across as respectful, and certainly mean no disrespect, and you hope you take it that way. Now, to the episode. Enjoy.
Welcome, everybody, to another amazing, beautiful, very fun, very exciting Greeting Mashiach podcast episode. 56, I believe.
56, yeah, I think so.
Wow. All right. My name is Levi Palchenko, Simcha Fisch. Today, we are going to do something very interesting. It's funny because this is like the reason the podcast was started was because of exactly what we're going to do today.
Letting you guys in on some background information here.
Ooh.
Secret background information.
So essentially, what happened was we came across a video of a very esteemed and famous speaker answering a very interesting question about Yechi, specifically the way the Rebbe, basically asking if it's something that the Rebbe encouraged or whatever it is, and essentially what the speaker we'll talk about it, but you know what? We'll just show you. Let's just jump right into it. So we'll start.
So this is going to be a reaction video, reacting to videos, basically episode.
Pretty much. Very excited. All right.
All right, let's do it.
The issue is a very simple one. For many years, when people tried to say that the Rebbe is Mashiach, the Rebbe got very upset and used some very strong language against it.
All right, so far, correct, accurate.
And he even gave a reason. The reason you cannot say these things is because it turns people off from learning Chassidus. So, first of all, as long as that's true, that people get turned off from learning Chassidus, then you can't say it.
Hold it. Okay, so he just took a leap of logic there that I see why he may have said that, but I'm going to disagree with. While it's true that Rebbe did say that, that's where the main task in question is, and the most important task is just the spreading of Chassidus. That's going to be the thing that's going to bring the Geula. However, once we've spread enough Chassidus that we've earned the Geula, and now Mashiach has been sent on his mission to take the Yidden out of Galus, and we have a new job, which is the important one that everyone needs to focus on, of greeting Mashiach, then it changes, and then the most important thing is to find a way to tell people that they should greet Mashiach instead of being scared of talking about it.
But I think what he's saying is true, that as long as it'll keep people away from doing it, meaning...
I still don't think so. There's always going to be collateral damage, meaning with the whole every mitzvah that Rebbe had people who were against it that I suppose were turned off by Chassidus because of it. People who were said, well, you're putting tefillin on shkatzim, you're putting tefillin on people who didn't wash nagavasar, people who are fried, they're like, goyim, how dare you? And that turned people away from learning Chassidus, I presume. Right. And the Rebbe didn't say we're not going to do mitzvah tefillin. The Rebbe said to put on tefillin anyways. And, the haters going to hate. There's always two ways to look at it. He is choosing to look at it from the perspective of the paramount, most important thing is what the Rebbe said. The Rebbe said that you can't tell people that the Rebbe is Mashiach not because it isn't true, but because it'll stop people from coming close to Chassidus. And right now, the most important thing, the whole goal of how we're going to bring the Geula is through, the goal is bring the Geula. The way we bring the gula is spreading chassidus. So if what you're doing is taking away from that goal, it's not helping. It's not helping the cause. Maybe it's very geschmack, not helping the cause. But once the goal changes, the goal is always Mashiach, the gula. But if we've progressed, it used to be the way we got there was just spreading chassidus. Now we've progressed. The way we're going to get there is through greeting Mashiach. So Mashiach's here, we have to greet him. So then, not focusing on who Mashiach is or talking about that whole thing and just doing the regular thing because you're scared it might turn someone away from chassidus, that's missing the point. That's assuming that all we still need to do is still spread chassidus, and that's it.
Right.
And we say, no, we've progressed, we've moved on. The Rebbe finished the previous Avodah, now we've introduced a new Avodah, which is something different, which is, at the very least, it's something different that involves greeting Mashiach, however you understand it. But pretending like we're in exactly the same situation now is something that I think on this podcast we disagree with.
And it's very true that people get turned off. Not only that they don't learn chassidus, there are people who won't eat Lubavitcher Shchita because of this.
If it's that black and white, then how could it be that so many people are not on that? Don't see that.
The argument is, as far as I know, that of course the Rebbe is going to say no, but we have to insist until the Rebbe agrees. Just like the Rebbe said, no, I don't want to be a Rebbe. But Chassidim insisted, it took a year, and the Rebbe agreed. So the same thing with this. Of course, the problem with that is that when the Rebbe said, I don't want to be a Rebbe, he didn't say it's damaging or it's destructive or it's turning people off. Secondly, if you're pressuring someone to become a Rebbe, that's very different than pressuring a Rebbe. Like how many times people would say, the Rebbe should go to Israel and then Mashiach will come. And the Rebbe said, if I'm the Rebbe, then you do what I tell you, not... If I'm a Rebbe, then what do you think?
I always found, one second, I always found this argument very interesting because essentially what he's saying is you can't tell the Rebbe what to do. Okay. But
on the face, do you agree or disagree with the 2 points he made?
I agree. I agree that we're not telling the Rebbe what to do. So there's two things. There's two things that there is. There is not telling the Rebbe what to do, and then there is also this idea of evoking, of inspiring and evoking something that exists in a dormant way and to bringing it into revelation, right? Like the push to pushing the Rebbe to become a Rebbe, I think it was also a similar thing. It wasn't telling the Rebbe what to do and we're foisting this upon you. It's evoking, it's trying to bring out something that exists already in a deeper way. And I think that's the same thing with the Eibishter. We're not telling the Eibishter what to do. Rather, we're trying to evoke from the Eibishter. We're trying to bring out something that exists in a dormant way and bring it out to a point where we can enjoy, we can gain from it ourselves and not stay dormant. So I think that's with that. But this idea of telling the Rebbe what to do, it's like the amount of stories that I've heard of shluchim, writing to the Rebbe and telling them that it's bad, that what the Rebbe is saying is bad for business. For example, Miu Yehudi, when the Rebbe was going out very strongly against the policies of the Israeli government, and shluchim like we're telling the Rebbe I don't know what you want from us. Like, are we supposed to jump on your bandwagon, or are we supposed to do this inyan of shluchas? And if that's the case, then it's a little contradictory. Also, with regards to Mashiach, also people were coming to a few shluchim wrote to the Rebbe and telling the Rebbe this is bad. It's not, it's people aren't accepting it. I don't know. So this idea of not telling the Rebbe what to do, it's like, I agree.
Well, I don't think people should have told that. I'm not sure the Shluchim were correct for telling that about the Yehudi.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't correct. I don't think they were correct.
Oh, okay, good. So I think I agree with Rabbi Friedman's 2 points here, that we should not tell the Rebbe what to do. And what was his other point? Oh, here the Rebbe gave a reason that it's going to have negative effects. Whereas I suppose his point is that by touching you, the Rebbe just didn't want the response, didn't want to become the Rebbe. But I would say his premise of his question was off. He presented it that the Rebbe has consistently, so to speak, negated and said that this is not a good thing to do. We should not say that he's Mashiach because it will discourage people from learning Chassidus. And we Chassidim came on our own, and we decided that we should and pressured him without his input whatsoever. He was always against it, so to speak, for all we know. Them is simply not facts when we know that Rebbe himself encouraged Chassidim to say this. The Rebbe kept talking, though. He mentioned sometimes it's part of the secret of his Mashiach. And culminating, when people in the Chassidim gave in signatures that they're accepting the Rebbe as Mashiach, the Rebbe thanked them and accepted it and told them to get more. When the Sheikh Chabad made an event saying how the presented around the Rebbe being Mashiach, the Rebbe wrote them a letter of encouragement. And when the Sheikh Chabad in London wanted to do it, the Rebbe said, we'll be in touch with the Sheikh Chabad of Crown Heights about how they made their event. And then obviously you have the whole Megillah where the Rebbe vociferously and publicly for a year encouraged the singing of Yechi, the most public thing, which obviously turned this whole argument on its face, this whole idea of discussing whether or not it's Menachem people that discussing the Rebbe's Mashiach, when the Rebbe was for a year encouraging Yechi, was the biggest public acknowledgement of this messianic movement centered around the Rebbe that he's Mashiach, and the Rebbe is encouraging this. And it really does not matter what excuse you will give for why the Rebbe was doing that. The fact remains that whether the Rebbe was doing that because that was the correct thing to do and he was encouraging a change in Kabbalah policy, whether he was simply hoping to get better and was encouraging the singing, or whether he had no idea what they were singing, and was just encouraging the singing because whatever version of events you want to have, if the Rebbe is the one who gets the pet policy and every canoe of a tzaddik is holy, and the Rebbe encouraged the singing of Yechi for a year, then obviously he was unconcerned, certainly for that year, of this idea of discouraging people to this. He felt that whatever the reason was going on in Talmud Gimel, that surpassed his reason for being worried about talking about the fact that he's Mashiach. So this whole discussion is really moot and irrelevant after the Gimel happened. And people just like to say, oh, okay, but let's ignore the Gimel. How about we don't ignore the Gimel?
I think he's going to talk about that. So
I'm sure. Okay, we'll see. And as far as the point about just to address the answer he gave about why this is different than talking to you, because you shouldn't pressure a Rebbe. Being a Rebbe is one thing, and it also needs to come from Chassidim, I suppose, but it doesn't have to necessarily in concept. But the idea of being a melech, the whole concept, the whole idea is that it comes from the people. That's how being a melech works. That's what it means to be a king. Any melech land, people accept you. So it kind of makes sense that there'll be a concept when it comes to a king that the people will petition the king that he should be the king. It's just, I'm not saying that negates what he's saying, it's just something to think about.
Till he gives in, that's not kosher. There's no comparison. The sad thing is, when you think about it, and somebody actually said this to me during the weekend. I spent the weekend with a bunch of... You were babysitting? So I never saw you because I never saw any babies. It was like you kept them so quiet.
I was very happy to see Brother Bob today.
How did you get the job?
I have friends who are not Bob.
You do?
Yeah.
all right, no.
Anyway, so somebody said that if the people who think that who insist that the Rebbe is Mashiach, but that's not really Mashiach. I said, yeah, and that's not really a Rebbe. So you end up not really a Rebbe unless he's Mashiach, and he's not Mashiach because the whole thing is that you don't have Mashiach, you don't have a Rebbe, you have nothing. The simple fact is...
You understand that argument?
No, I do not.
I
did not get that.
I'm scared to say anything because I literally didn't understand what he said. But it seemed to be, yeah.
Let's not say.
Happen when Mashiach comes. What are you going to do? You going to know what to do? I imagine that it would become very chaotic, right? Everybody's going to be so excited and people get tumult and confused and they won't know where to go, what to do. So, what are we going to do when Mashiach comes? We'll ask the Rebbe. Like, why did that change all of a sudden? Every big decision you ever made, you ask the Rebbe. When Mashiach comes, what should we do? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You'll ask the Rebbe and you'll do whatever he tells you.
He's going here in the same mahalach that the Rebbe never gave an opinion on something and don't talk about it because we're not the people. So why are you going and doing something different on your own?
So let's cover the whole subject. The reason this is even possible, this whole conversation, is because since the time of the Gemara, people felt that their Rebbe was Mashiach. Since the time of the Gemara. And that's why there's a conversation in the Gemara that the Amoraim were sitting and saying, Mashiach's name is Yinain, Mashiach's name is... and they were using the name of their Rebbe. In other words, they felt that their Rebbe was Mashiach. So what do we see from this? That we should tell the world that the Rebbe is Mashiach. Well, not exactly. 5 people were sitting around. Each one of them said, my Rebbe is Mashiach. And then what happened?
Hold it. Didn't the Rebbe say that the Shabbat is incredible? If we'll say about the Hoshver that the Friedman is Mashiach.
Yeah, but that's in whatever. That's that's what he's saying. We're all sitting around. We're all discussing.
This exact parallel that he's saying from the Gemara. Rebbe took that exact same thing and did it about his father-in-law.
Yeah, he's
Many
not
years
arguing with
after his
that.
father-in-law, after his trial.
Yeah, he's not arguing with that.
Okay.
Nothing. They all went back to learning, and they all went. If each of them thought that their Rebbe was Melech HaMoshiach, there should have been bloodshed. If you knew who Mashiach is, and somebody disagrees with you, so you say, oh, okay, let's talk about something else. What?
Hold it. So he's giving a lot of fodder for Mishkistim, who rightfully believe that the Rebbe is Mashiach, that we should be just as vociferously and strongly and forcefully defending our position here and bringing it in everyone's faces about it. You're saying that would be the correct thing to do if indeed you believe that. It just so happens, however, that I believe the Pirush of the Gemara is that it's of people from different generations, and each one was the potential Mashiach of that generation. That's what the Gemara is saying. These people in their respective generations was the one who indeed would have been the Mashiach. At least I've heard such a finish, which makes more sense than the Gemara.
So obviously they weren't saying that their Rebbe is Melech HaMoshiach, particularly since there was no Geula. They were in Golas. They were in Bavel.
What were they saying then?
They were saying, my Rebbe is my Mashiach.
That'd be a thing?
Yeah. On the contrary, every Talmud, every Chassid should feel that his Rebbe took him out of his Golas, because that's what a Rebbe does. Now, take that a step further. They each could believe that their Rebbe is the Mashiach of that generation.
Yeah,
because Mashiach exists in every generation, right? So there's a Mashiach of every generation. If the Deir is Zeicher, he'll become Melech HaMashiach. But until then, he is Mashiach Shebedeir. Right? That's why they're not going to get into a fight about it. They're just saying, who is taking us out of Golas in this Deir? You don't really have to convince everybody. So, the Alter Rebbe's Chassidim said that the Alter Rebbe is Mashiach. The Mittler Rebbe said, Chassidim said that the Mittler Rebbe is Mashiach. And that's how it should be. In fact, by the Mittler Rebbe, things were so good that Chassidim said, we don't need Mashiach. It's so good, we don't even need Mashiach.
Is there a source for that?
I don't know, but the Rebbe spoke against that attitude so many times, culminating with I'm not actually saying the Rebbe couldn't think correctly, but the Rebbe spoke against it so many times. And anyway, the Rebbe after the Sabbath, the last moment the Rebbe gave out, the Rebbe goes against that whole idea that even the greatest tablet with the greatest revelation, someone like himself, basically, you might think that he has the ghoul already. No, still, the fact that the revelation is not everywhere means he does not have the essence, and therefore he should be in Gansens and Tresels entirely shooken up by the fact that he's still in Galus. He has to want the revelation of godliness, the ultimate way. But Mommy, what did he say just before that point? I want to comment on something.
Manas?
Yeah.
He was saying how Mashiach Shabbatar.
Oh, every
And,
generation. Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like he's trying to make the comparison that just like the people. Well, I think it's Yana. They said, "Is Yana Yinit?
Yinin.
Yinit Shmei? Yana
Both.
Shmei?"
Both.
Two
I
different
think
people.
Yinin
Okay. And Menachem and all these people, right? So and so too is the Alter Rebbe's time, little bit of time. So it's our time. The Rebbe said about the Friedman Rebbe, we'll say it about the Rebbe, and then we move on with life. He seems to be discrediting this idea that we're the seventh generation. What's different about our generation is that the Rebbe opened up his Messiah by saying that ours is the last generation of Golas. There will be no more further. This is the seventh. This is the last one. We, that is to say, himself and his people, are going to finish the job and actually take the Eden out of Golas. That's what lends so much more significance and credence and importance to the Rebbe's Messiah, and the Rebbe, not the if the Rebbe is the Mashiach of this last generation. That would mean, and this is the last generation, that means that he's going to be the final Mashiach, one who actually does the job. And then obviously the Rebbe said that he's the Mashiach for real. The Rebbe said that he stood in the roof of the Beis Hamikdash, that Mashiach stood in the roof of the Beis Hamikdash, etc. All these things that went way beyond the potential Mashiach of every generation.
When the Rebbe said that the Friedrich Rebbe is Mashiach, he didn't say Melech HaMashiach. In fact, in one Sikha, the Rebbe said very clearly, in the Gemara, each one said that his Rebbe is his Mashiach, so we should say that our Rebbe is our Mashiach. And Melech HaMashiach. So when people asked, you think your Rebbe is Mashiach? The answer was, yes, and you should think that your Rebbe is Mashiach.
And that's how it could work that every
Funny how nobody thinks that other than Lubavitch.
Yeah.
Also, in Yechi, the words are Melech HaMashiach, and the Rebbe encouraged it. This was even a few times before another. So if his hang up isn't the words Melech HaMashiach, even when somebody is B'chavkas Mashiach, they would still get the title, they're B'chavkas Melech HaMashiach. It's getting, I don't know if that's the point. You're getting caught up in the words a little bit, but I think a general point is, though, if it's like the actual Mashiach. Yeah.
Like, because the response to that question always is, there's only one Mashiach, so.
Oh, there's only one Melech HaMashiach.
Right.
So that's where the confusion started. They didn't make the clear distinction between our Mashiach, or Mashiach Shebedoir, or Melech HaMashiach.
Is he positing it's all over? What's he positing?
So in some cases, when somebody came to the Rebbe and said, Rebbe, you are Mashiach, and the Rebbe said, fine, that's what a Rebbe does. But if you say Melech HaMashiach, that turns people off.
I love how he just like says a story and like quotes the Rebbe as if that's like a normal thing that Rebbe says. Fine.
No, here we're saying a story with the Rebbe Kilo. He's saying all the time with the Rebbe
brushed it off,
accepted people call the Mashiach, all the letters, the whole Yechi, he's saying, yeah, you want to call me your Mashiach? Like, sure. Like, I'll be your Mashiach. Which I'm unfamiliar with this concept of personal Mashiachs. There's the concept of the Mashiach inside every single person, your own spark of Mashiach. The need for the Mashiach that you have, that it's your job to take out a goal. And then there's the ultimate Mashiach. I don't know what this personal Mashiach is. That's you're just calling it a Rebbe. A Rebbe is the Nasi of each generation. He's good at that generation. But that's why he's the one who, if he's the Mashiach of that generation. But he's kind of inventing this like as if it's an official category of personal Mashiach, so that when the Rebbe said, anytime that the Rebbe said that he's Mashiach, or that the Rebbe accepted and affirmed and encouraged people to say that he's Mashiach, he was merely only, of course, only talking about he's their personal Mashiach.
Right.
I don't think that previously mentioned effects are in line with that. The Rebbe spoke about, like this idea of that the Mashiach so enough Mashiach man Mashiach said the Rebbe said already Mashiach's man Mashiach already announced this. The Rebbe said that we just learned in Shemais Shlach Mabiyat Shlach. This that it says that you should Moshe told Hashem you should send the one who's going to eventually finish the job, send Mashiach. And this is where the Rebbe learns that Mashiach is called a Shliach. He has a mission from Hashem to redeem the Jewish people. The Rebbe says this shlichus of Mashiach, this shlach, Mabiyat Shlach, has already begun. That is to say, Hashem has already informed Mashiach that he is and given him the job that he's Mashiach and sent him to take the Yidden out of Gaul. So that's way beyond the things that he's saying. And he's discrediting. Well, I guess he's not talking about any of this, but maybe he probably never heard these things. I don't know.
Now, what exactly is the emunah in Mashiach? So the Rebbe said at least 500 times, at least. The only halacha concerning Mashiach is the Rambam.
We get a fact check on that.
There are many opinions. There
we get a fact check on that 500 times.
Many details. Mashiach is going to come on a donkey, on a white donkey, an old donkey. The Rebbe says that's all medrash, but halacha, what we really have to know and believe about Mashiach is only in the Rambam.
Except for the part about us not being a physical body eventually, which we disagree with. We disagree with the Rambam.
Basically says like this. How are we going to know who Mashiach is? Will we ask him? Will he tell us? Will he sign a contract? How are we going to know he's Mashiach? We're not going to ask him and he's not going to tell us. Anyone who accomplishes what Mashiach is supposed to accomplish is Mashiach. So how are we going to know he's Mashiach? If he takes us out of Golus, he's Mashiach. If he doesn't take us out of Golus, but says he's Mashiach, I don't know if that's kosher.
Oh, maybe. Doesn't the Rambam have two categories of before he actually takes you out of Golus, while he's still in Golus, if he does certain things, you should already then consider him a Mashiach. He has to
this is a common misconception that I really don't understand, and a lot of people have not been able to answer, is if the Rambam is clearly making a distinction between, he's giving two categories. There's Chazkas Mashiach and Mashiach Vadai. And these people, and a lot of people conflate it. They make it one thing.
Right.
What is the practical implication of Chazkas Mashiach? What does that mean? What does the Rambam mean? It can't just be, oh, we'll sit and wait until the Mashiach gets a Mashiach Vadai.
Yeah, most people think like he's saying, until I'm not sitting in the base of Mikdash with flying on a cloud, don't talk to me about it.
I don't understand. Like, so what is it? What do you think? What do you think that I'm like? What do you think that Rambam means when he says Chazkas Mashiach? What does that mean? Like, why does that matter to me?
And for the record, because there's different ways of learning what the Rambam means. What does it mean? Does he have to make every single yid from? Does he not? What shot in the things that Rambam says you need to do to be Chazkas Mashiach? In which case, obviously, it would be warranted after someone did that, considered them Mashiach, called them Melech HaMashiach. So we have the Rebbe's words, and we're just coming now from Shemais, and the Rebbe says there that the Rebbe says there are a lot of amazing things. The Rebbe says they already have the Gulamit, we already have the Gulamit of Hashlema. We just need that Hashem should open the Eibishter the Eibishter should open our eyes, and we already see the Gulamit of Hashlema. Meaning, essentially, it's here in this world. The world is already fixed up, but we didn't realize it yet, which means it didn't come to our psyche yet. That's when Hashem should open our eyes. That's where it says that we should open our eyes here, so Hashem should open our eyes, and we'll see that the goal is here. We'll see the Shumar and Sharabai, But at the end of the Sikha, the last paragraph, or second to last paragraph, the Rebbe says, that after we already have the revelation, after we already have somebody who is in the category of Cheskas Mashiach, who fulfilling what the Rambam did, he that this guy who's already here, he should very soon become Mashiach Vadai through fulfilling the rest of the Rambam's criteria, being Mashiach Vadai. I'm paraphrasing here the in between words, but that's the version of what the Rebbe said, which means that it seems clear to me from reading that the Rebbe is saying there is somebody who's already B'chafkas Mashiach. He already filled that criteria. He definitely should be Mashiach B'vadei. So this seems pretty clear that there's somebody who's already Melech HaMashiach. Indeed, we're not just waiting around for.
I'm saying this idea of to answer the question that what's the nafkamina for me of someone being a Cheskas Mashiach. I think that Rambam brings the story of Rabbi Akiva to illustrate the point that when someone who seems to be fulfilling the criteria that the Rambam lays out, that we should be like Rabbi Akiva and already calling that person Melech HaMashiach and going around and getting people to rally around behind this person who seems to be fulfilling all the things, right? And I love what the Rambam says about the prophets. The Rambam says that these are the things that are the criteria, so to speak, and as long as this person is fulfilling all the things, he's not going out of the boundaries of halacha, so he's a prophet, and you have to follow him and listen to him as a prophet. And the Rambam says, if the guy ends up not being a prophet, that's not your cheshbon. That your job is to follow this person as a prophet or to follow this person as Melech HaMashiach. And the fact that later something happens, like, for example, the story of Rabbi Akiva, the fact that Bar Kokhba ended up being killed for his sins, that's not...
Well, that means he wasn't really a Isaac Mitzvah with Kedavid Oven, so I guess that was a mistake on their part for not recognizing that.
Right, but it's not Rabbi Akiva's... It's not... The responsibility, the fault is not on Rabbi Akiva because he was fulfilling his part. It seemed to them
that he was doing it the right thing, yeah.
And therefore, that's what you have to do. You have to behave as if this is true because that's all you know. And later you can look hindsight, okay, maybe we shouldn't have, but as long as that's the case, this is what you need to do, and that's not in your cheshbon. It's not part of the thing.
It's
so I think that's the difference. We have we have to do.
In this same clip earlier, Rabbi Friedman was himself saying that if indeed you thought Rebbe was going to be the actual real Mashiach, you should go around telling everybody. What do you mean? You think it's somebody else? Right now, he's meekly suggesting that you shouldn't care. You should just be like, whatever. We'll find out when he comes. Doesn't matter. What a minute. Before he thought that if you actually believed that Rebbe was really, really Mashiach, you should care a lot.
And that's happened in the past. Somebody got up, and he was very popular, and he said, I'm Mashiach. And it created some big problems. It was never good news.
So now about expression.
Brings an example. Bar Kokhba was convinced, Rabbi Akiva was convinced that Bar Kokhba was Mashiach. Why didn't he ask him? What do you have to guess? Ask him and you'll know for sure. No, you won't know for sure because Mashiach doesn't come by claiming to be Mashiach. So firstly, you'll see, if you talk to people who are convinced that the Rebbe is Mashiach, ask them, wasn't the Rebbe against it? They'll say no. The Rebbe never said no.
We won't say that.
Huh?
We won't say that Rebbe never said no. I mean, never.
We
won't say that Rebbe never said no.
Yeah.
Which is like living in a different planet.
This is called making a straw man, maybe. You know about those?
Another strange thing.
Yeah.
They sang up a song about the Rebbe being Mashiach by a Farbrengen, and the Rebbe got really upset and said, I really should walk out. But since that's not going to help anyway, so I'll finish the Farbrengen.
Rabbi Friedman, can I tell you a story about an entire year when they never came out to encourage the song?
It wasn't even the same song.
It was no. This song
not the
was a
same
song
bit.
they sang by the Rebbe. They used to sing by the Rebbe earlier years, and then the Rebbe didn't like it and stopped. And then the Rebbe asked them not to sing it, and then they sang it again. And I'm assuming it was probably in a way that was inappropriate and not nice, and was like to make a joke or something. And the Rebbe said that's inappropriate. Don't sing this in my face. And I think that's what they said there. But you see afterwards about Yechi was the more, whatever the reason is, the Rebbe did encourage it. So yeah.
I think
They sing because I saw a video where Achtem were singing Yechi. Maybe they cut it out or something. But
Oh, so here's my point. I asked somebody, what are you doing? The Rebbe said he would walk out. And you know what it means that he would walk out? That he would never Farbring again. Not that I'll walk out now, punish you, and then I'll come back and Farbring next week. No. So the Rebbe says, but it's not going to help anyway. So I asked him, how can you... He says, yeah, but 2 weeks later when we sang it, the Rebbe didn't say anything. Do you have a problem with that? Hmm?
Yeah, a little bit.
What?
Like, it's not like it's not like a parent. Okay, you're gonna do it again. I'm gonna warn you again. One time covers it all. Like, if it refers to the first time, it refers to the second and third.
And the Rebbe said it's not going to help anyway, so.
You just proved it. The amazing thing is that Rebbe said he's going to walk out. Yeah, but 2 weeks later when we sang it, he didn't say anything. I said, wait a minute. 2 weeks later, you sang it again? Do you hear what
For
you're
the
saying?
record, this story happened to Parshas Vayera, and they didn't think anything of Parshas Vayera, whatever.
See, it proves that Rebbe was right. It's not going to help anyway. So here's the thing. When Chassidim decide that they have to do something,
So the whole Gimel is that Rebbe gave up on the Chassidim, and really he should walk out, and that's why the Rebbe didn't like encourage it when they sang other songs. He only consistently was encouraging. You see, when the Rebbe didn't like anything, he told him to stop. And here they've been encouraged. You see, very clearly, very very into it. Or
Right. It
not
seems
everything.
it seems
but
that
the
his
Rebbe is so
argument
into
it seems that his argument
So the Rebbe said his piece once, and that was it.
yeah,
According
it
to
seems
him.
that his argument is that if once the Rebbe said, "Oh, I should, but I'm not because whatever," and I just want the Achdus, this and that and the other, so the Rebbe basically went along with it and not really caring whatever.
Oh, but here the Rebbe
The
told him to
issue,
stop. Just didn't walk out.
right? The issue that I have with that is very simple. That number one, it's a totally different niggin with different words. Number two, yeah, Pasha Begashmis, you see the Rebbe encouraging it, and if the Rebbe didn't want to encourage it, the Rebbe wouldn't have encouraged it. The Rebbe would have just sat there, and you see very clearly.
Yeah,
the
they will
Rebbe's
pick a
looking-
different nigga, whatever. What? This does not jive with the fact. This is
And also, no, they did not sing it 2 weeks after.
yeah, that didn't happen. They sing it as being Messiah. They sing
saying
it.
no, but they have to.
They're saying this.
That is so
I love the name one talking in Naya later. That was it. I think still after the come.
And it's so not Chassidish. Yeah, the Rebbe's going to say no, but we have to say yes. You know, that can start a whole... How many other things are you going to do that about? There was one other thing that Chassidim did that. One. Taking mashke. The Rebbe said 100 times, no mashke.
All right,
Actually-
we're going to leave it at that.
All right.
So yeah, all in all, that's Rabbi Manis Friedman giving a beautiful shiur to women, girls, and what is it? What's this thing called? Whatever, his yeshiva that he has for girls, and that's him addressing the the stuff. Very interesting.
Anyways, we hope you enjoyed. Let us know if you guys want more content like this. And
yeah, let's do this. Ready. This is really cool.
what?
Ooh. Like and
Oh,
subscribe.
nice. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, give us feedback, and keep talking and learning about the Mashiach. And don't be discouraged. And out the stark. And we're learning now in the parsha these weeks. We're learning these weeks about the Mitzrayim, about the whole story of Moshe going out of Mitzrayim. And we learn always in Chassidus. He made Tzitz come back from Mitzrayim, and the place just as the days we left Egypt. I will show you wonders that Exodus from Mitzrayim is compared to the Exodus, the final redemption we will have of this longest and bitterest of exiles. And we should be zeichet very soon that Rebbe take us out of Golas immediately. Chia Melech, we want Mashiach now.
ועד כדי כך המדב גולהום מהדר עם זול מחי זין יחי המלך.